All right. We are live once again here at the Dragonforge After Dark. This is the Tabletop Traveler, Mikey Cuento, joining you tonight for a very special Saturday episode of the Dragonforge After Dark. And it's going to be a very, very spicy one. So, my partner for tonight, Kesh, is on his way. He'll try to catch up, but if he doesn't make it, it's all good because it's going to be a very spicy discussion. And yeah, so please join us because it's going to be fun. This is something that we've been thinking about since we started conceptualizing what we were going to show in future episodes of the Dragonforge After Dark. So tonight it's the Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team State of the Meta, where we talk about what's good, what's not, what's hot, and how the different factions stack against each other in the competitive scene. So, but before everything else, please like and subscribe to our different social media platforms, or social media accounts and streaming platforms that you can see up there. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, wherever you are. So, yeah, let's get started. Okay, so later on, we're going to have a tier list. Now, who doesn't like tier lists? Normally, this causes a lot of salt. Normally, this causes a lot of anger and negative feelings. But um, we're going to go through each of the factions very quickly, talk about their strengths and weaknesses, and see how we can think of ways to get you know get the most out of all of them. So let's see. But before that, we have a little disclaimer. So we're gonna go through each of these. So that's a picture of me and my friends at the Dragon Forge. So Johan and Doc Go, I really miss you guys. I hope we can play again soon. So the disclaimer, again, this is going to be a discussion on the competitive aspect of Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team. We're going to look at different factions, different tournament results, but doesn't matter. Even if it's about the competitive aspect, it's going to inform many of our choices in. It's going to inform many of our choices in our roster building whenever we go and have a few games at our different local game stores. It's always good to remember the following. So rule zero discussion for casual games. If you're going to knowledge of the tier list, knowledge of the current meta will help inform these discussions. What is rule zero? Rule zero is during casual games, you and your opponent or friendly games, you and your opponent agree, talk about what factions you're playing, how strong they are. You're going to be upfront with the rules, and then agree to have a experience that you both can enjoy. We'll probably have a separate discussion on what Rule Zero is. It's something that we borrowed from the Magic the Gathering community, especially specifically in the MTG Commanders community, popularized by what do you call this, the professor and other YouTubers. Next is rule of cool is always the best rule, even though we're going to be talking about what's powerful, what's not so powerful, what's easy, what's hard to play. Rule of cool will always make sure that you're always having fun. And related to that, tier lists are not the end all be all. Okay, again, seeing this can usually trigger a lot of negative emotions in people, makes them salty. The discussion get really spicy, but they are not the end all be all because meta games are always changing. They change every month. They change every quarter. In fact, FAQs are always expected. So in the second month of competitive Kill Team, after seeing more than 12 games, checking out the results of those tournaments, GW immediately addressed the problem that we knew from day one, which is the Talons of the Emperor, particularly how the Custodies interacted with different ploys. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to unpack some of those things now. So next is play to have fun, play your best, and always play safe, especially now in this time of pandemic. Take all the necessary measures to keep yourself and your opponent safe. And Play to have fun. Always play your best. You don't need to put on the brakes so much. Still try to win, but not win at all costs. Okay. So with those disclaimers out of the way, we can now get to the meat of the episode, which is okay. So we're not we're not gonna go through all of the tournaments before the FAQ, but this gives you a landscape. No, this gives you a landscape of of how the metagame has been. So yes, Eric, I am flying solo for a while. Okay, so thank you for tuning in, Eric. Always glad to have you here. Okay, so Cash will be with us in a bit, I guess. I think he's just updating his computer. So going back, kill team win rates by faction before the FAQ, before the Custodes nerf. This is data taken from at least 12 tournaments since the launch of Kill Team Octarius. There were 8 plus participants per event, and as you can see, it was dominated by Talons of the Emperor with a 79% win percentage. That's a lot, that's big, and that's because they were simply busted. No? Again, they won. When we got the compendium, when it was released, when we got it, we knew exactly who the problem child will be. Although at first many of us thought it would be Tyranids. That would be the biggest problem. They were a problem for a while, but again later we'll get to a discussion on what happened to Tyranids. So they're not out of the game, but they were not as strong as we thought they would be. Instead, it was the Golden Boys and the Golden Girls who were really dominating the scene for the first 2 months. So yes, Adeptus Mechanicus best for being free from flaws of the flesh. Okay, yes, that is very profound. So again, this is the state of the meta prior to the October 2021 FAQ, which happened at the start of last month. No? And the tournament results that we'll be looking at are a reflection of the FAQ and how it has affected the metagame. Okay, so we're just going to lay the foundation on what to expect for the next 10 tournaments that we're going to look at. These were collected between October 7 and November 7. So that's an entire month. It's a total of 10 tournaments with 8 participants per event. And I also made sure that when we look at the tournament, we had to make sure that there was at least one Talons of the Emperor. There were a lot of tournaments in that month between the FAQ and today. More than 30. Not all of them have turned in their results. You can check that on Best Coast pairings. No, so there were more than 12. No, there were more than 20 tournaments again between October 7, the October 7 the FAQ, and today. But we're only looking at 10 tournaments with the following criteria. There were at least 8 participants per event, and 1 plus talent.
Hello.
Oh, there we are. Hello, Kesh.
Yes, I
Thank you for
was
joining.
caught in the Windows update hell.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. So we just got started. So I just laid the foundation on what to expect for the next 10 tournaments that we're going to look at. We're not going to go in depth. In fact, we don't even have roster lists yet.
Key.
Okay. So feel free to provide some commentary and ask some questions, Kesh, about how how the meta is
Yes,
looking.
I,
But
I will actually ask you to help me build like a Warp Coven kill team
oh Jesus,
later.
yeah,
Yes,
yes, that is a
because
hot item.
we're all here for the guy who did nothing wrong.
Yes, and I've actually switched colors halfway. Okay, so Kesh is gonna be taking care of the comments, so I can focus on the spies. Okay, and what you're seeing right now, these 5 factions in that grid, they're the ones to look out for. Spoiler alert. Okay, and again, we will get to the tier list at the end of this episode. So we're going to start with the October 17 Grand Tournament that happened in Le Madrid. Madrid. Okay.
In
This is
what?
already in
You
Madrid.
you don't you don't slur these. It's just Madrid.
Is it just Madrid?
Yeah,
I
it's
thought it
just
was
Madrid.
Madrid.
No, you only the Z's
Right.
and
Okay.
like some C's like Andalusia.
Okay. Unfortunately, most of these tournaments are from Spain, and I hope to not offend our friends, our former colonizers. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the GT that happened in Madrid last month. No, first and second place were Talons. As you can see, even after the FAQ, they were still going strong. But remember, by this time, the FAQ had only been out for a week and a half, and people were probably still rebuilding, probably still trying to get acquainted with the new rules, changes, especially with line of sight. You can no longer daisy chain. I think I talked about that. No, it's not here. Okay, so you no longer can't have a obscured model in front of another model to obscure that model. No? So that should have gone without saying, but GW had to clear that up. And flavorfully, it makes sense. Right? And it's followed by veteran guardsmen, harlequins, two heretic astartes, and gray knights. This is a sign of things to come. Okay? So this is the first major tournament after the FAQ. Talons still take first and second place, but it's a varied list. This is a field of 24. I'm looking at my notes. 24 players. Okay? This is a good sample. And you'll notice there's finally a psyker at the bottom. Grey Knights. Okay? So watch out for that. And let's check the rest of the list. So I only featured I would feature top 8 in tournaments that had more than 16 participants. Okay. So here is Field Team Championships in San Diego, October 23. Forge World takes top spot, followed by Talons and Commandos taking the rest of the top 4. Again, a sign of things to come. Now, why is there an asterisk? We're not quite sure because tournament lists have not come out yet, but we're not sure whether this Forge World kill team is actually a Forge World kill team or if it's the Hunter Clade one. So if you don't have yet a copy of White Dwarf 468, we still have copies at the Dragonforge. Mine just arrived today, just in time, but I'd already read up on this. So thank you, Kesh. Thank you, Johan, for facilitating this. Arrived just in time. Uh, yeah, so we're not yet sure. It could be the Hunter Clade because it's a strict upgrade. But here's a caveat. The skill ceiling of the compendium factions is kind of deceiving. People are discovering new things about the compendium factions every day. And in the post FAQ world, there was a lot left to be utilized. No? So we're not quite there yet. So again, two commandos taking the last two spots, which now leads us to a very strange tournament. Team Granada Torneo Mensual,
Granada.
October.
I just want to put a huge disclaimer that Granada is a weird place where the meta goes to die. They also had that
Iron
40k
Hands,
tournament with two iron
right?
hands people placing in the top 4, well in the top 10, and both of them with identical lists, and both of them named Antonio.
Right.
So like, yeah, Gran Spain, particularly Granada, is where meta goes to die. Like there is no such thing as meta in Granada. Granada
Right.
is the jank, is the land of the jank.
Yeah. But for the most part, this is still a consistent top 4. No. Mikey also, though he's had his few weeks. Yeah. What? Yes. Okay. Crute are actually very mobile. When I saw them in the compendium, the
Bile.
first thing I asked, Cash, I need Crute for kill team. They can
Then
actually
buy
be
the
good.
crew.
They can actually be good. And we saw they were the only ones that could move a default 8 inches. So again, in kill team, mobility is king. Mobility and numbers. They have both.
What's the mobility on Eldar?
they're okay.
Like, what's their movement stat? 7?
They can do six and then dash, and then they have fleet that essentially
Hmm.
allows them to do extra
But
dashes
they don't
in
have a
certain
flat 8.
situations. They don't have a flat eight. Kroot do. The Kroot hounds do. And not only that, uh, they don't even have 2 APL, which means most Eldar models can only move and dash and nothing else compared to their um, psychotic clown brethren who can move, dash, and still do a lot of things. Okay,
Well,
and they're
those are
here.
clowns. Clowns have
Those are
always been
clowns.
the Yeah, clowns have always been the kings of kill team.
So there you go. Speaking of clowns, again, pay attention to the evolving top four and top eight lists because we are seeing a pattern here, Captain. No,
Yes,
Harlequins.
Groot is best.
Yeah, screw it, it's best. But again, be aware of the Heretic Astartes because that's something to watch out for. Here again is a sort of weird top four. This is a field of 12 players. It's very no, this is 16 actually, if I remember correctly. The Torneo de Iniciación, which probably means an initiation tournament. I'm not sure, but
Yes, it's an initiate's tourney. It's for new players.
there you go. And probably a lot of noobs there, but you can't go
Yeah,
wrong with
they
Talons and
probably
Harlequins.
only let noobs in. So,
Yeah. But the
yeah.
fact that Talons and Harlequins, it's hard to lose with those
Yeah,
two.
it is hard to lose with talents and harlequins, especially in like a beginner tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it's like bringing Lumineth to a beginner AOS tourney.
right.
Fuck
So
you, Eric.
loyalist Astartes are not supposed to make it this far
They are not.
unless it's Death Watch. That's the only
Yeah,
argument, and we'll see that in the tier list
but yeah,
later.
but this is a beginner tourney, so
It is a beginner journey. And
there were
Necrons,
probably like
mm,
remember that since this is a beginner tourney, around 50% of the population were probably bringing Space Marines.
yeah, and Necrons, which are by the
Yes,
boatload.
from the starter set. Yeah.
I actually forget the actual composition of the Torneo de Iniciación, but Necrons and Astartes are very rare to see, especially in the top 8 or not even top 16. But now, okay, we now go to the
Okay, that's
big
expected.
tournament. Okay, there's an interesting story with the October 24 Warhammer World results. Um, the winner of that tournament is one John Reed. I forget his last name, but he is the blogger from Can You Roll a Crit, who also has a YouTube channel. He plays all of the GW games. He has never won a tournament, but this is the first time he's taken things seriously. He has always been a Tyranids player, always been a Tyranid stan. I'm a Tyranid stan. I played Tyranids. I'll play Tyranids in the first few upcoming Kill Team leagues. But in testing, in the post FAQ world where the custodies are no longer as full of actions as they used to be, they did a lot of testing. Tyranids can kill, but they could not score. They could not score. So he made
Story
the
of my
change.
life. Story of my life.
So that's the thing with Tyranids. It's kind of frustrating. They have not placed well because they rack up kills. They're so fast, but they just can't score properly. So that's a frustration on my end. But the reason for the top four commandos, okay, there's actually two Talons. No, yeah, there were one Talons and two Harlequins in this 32-person tournament. Right? 32. Now, what happened? My guess is that everyone tested commandos versus custodies. And in testing, as John attested to, commandos had everything in the arsenal to deal with the post FAQ uh, talents of the emperor, and many talents of the emperor, and a lot of them were making the switch to sisters, but they were not as powerful, so they decided to go with continue bringing four custodians, but commandos could overpower, could overwhelm them. There's the two Harlequins didn't make it to top 12. They got knocked out for some reason.
Wow.
Uh, that's a rare case. But this is also a very interesting top 8 because number 6 and number 7, and again, Forge World, which has proven itself to be capable of entering the top 4, we now see Thousand Suns entering top 8 for the first time
They did
and
nothing
bring
wrong.
they did everything right. Now take note, October 24, October 24 means they don't have this. No one has this yet. Not
Ooh.
the Yeah, the full rules have not been for the Warp Coven Kill Team,
When
not
was
yet fully
this?
spoiled. So yeah, October 24 for the Warhammer World Tournament. This is what date, Kesh? Should
No,
this
this is
only came,
October. They should have already have had it.
but not during the Warhammer World Tournament. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure
they should have.
they should have. No?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to wait for the official lists and the rosters for Warhammer World, but this is very interesting because in a world in a world where talons of the Emperor are being crushed by Orc commandos. As you can see, 4 commandos. People are afraid to go talons because they'll get crushed by commandos. But because of that, that means there are no Sisters of Silence. No Sisters of Silence means Psychers can run wild in the new
You know
meta.
what's weird about this top 8? This looks almost exactly like a top table, like a top listing from a regular 40k tournament, except the Imperial Guard replaced Drukari. It's Orcs, Admech, Thousand Suns, Grey Knights.
Interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is a sign of things to come. People are hesitant to bring talents of the Emperor now, just because of commandos, but also because of Harlequins. Okay, and we will get to Harlequins again in a bit. Now, why is there an asterisk on Imperial Guard? Again, we're not quite sure if they are veteran guardsmen. So I'm going to have to take a look again at all of the documentation because in the FAQ, in the post FAQ world, Scions are good again. They can now receive orders they didn't used to. That's so weird, no? In that compendium, they couldn't receive orders. Now they could. And Scions can bring twice as much plasma, twice as much special weapons as the Octarius Guardsmen. Okay, so we have to take a look at results again because there is a reason to go double Scions instead of the Kriegers. So it's a brave new world for Kill Team. Definitely watch out for Commandos. Now, it goes down a little bit. The the first night tournament November, because there's another torneo nocturno later on. It's Harlequins, still Talons, Sisters of Battle, and Harlequins. This is a top 8 with no commandos, if I remember correctly. Okay, so there's that thing. There's the thing. You're going to notice if there's a Harlequins in top 4, there might not be a commandos in top 4, but Talons is still there. Okay, it's weird, but this one has 2 Harlequins. Okay, and then Sisters of Battle make an appearance at top 4, and this is not the Chalnat sisters, not the Chalnat sisters. These are heavy weapon Sister Repentia, Sisters of Battle played well. Okay, and we're seeing a pattern because Sisters of Battle have been racking up wins lately. And again, it's another sign that the compendium actually has a high skill ceiling that people are still discovering. But this is a good sign
Except
of
Space
heart,
Marines.
except Space Marines. They just can't catch a break. And then, unless it's the Torneo Iniciación with
Yeah,
noobs,
well, it's a beginner tourney, so
can't be helped. And now we go to Habemus Ludum, which I assume means got game. Is that correct? got game? I think that's what
Yes,
it
that's
means.
literally got game.
Alright, so November 7, this was just last week in Spain. Tao. Tao make an appearance. Double asterisk because Chalnut hasn't come out yet. And they too have been racking up wins along with Sisters. How interesting. Tao and Sisters in their vanilla compendium form have been racking up wins in the lead up to Kill Team Calnat. Why is that? I guess people are trying to compare. I don't know. But Tao, again, it's one of those factions with so many options in the compendium that nobody knows how to play them properly yet. Until now. Until now. So maybe it's due to ignorance. No, people don't know how to deal with Tao. And then on that tournament, on that weekend, someone just figured out how to play Tao. Because they have a lot of toys. In fact, I think they have the most
Heads
options in the
up
competitive.
may Kalnath na yan.
May Kalnath na ba to?
May
Okay.
Kalnath na yan. Kalnath came out the day before.
Oh! Interesting. Okay. Hmm.
So they probably took the Kalnath Pathfinders and then brought them agad dito.
Interesting. Because when I studied the stats of the Calnat Pathfinders, they're hard to kill. They're pretty stealthy. They're stealthy. They're Pathfind. They're the quintessential Pathfinders in the lore. Like they are very stealthy, very covert ops, hard to kill, and they have good shooting.
Unlike in
So
actual 40k.
yeah, unlike in 9th edition 40k, but
They just die.
yeah, but this is interesting, and another interesting thing to see here is Drukhari, because people are discovering the power of pain. Well, power from pain. Okay, um, so they haven't made a lot of appearances, except in tournaments where there were absolutely no talons of the Emperor, and we did not include those here for the sake of brevity. No? But again, Drukhari might be something to watch out for as talons usage goes down. We might see more squishy mobile factions on top of the psychers. So, but talents and commandos, I think, will always be a mainstay. Now, we have Katie Granada Torneo Mensual Noviembre, the sequel to Torneo Mensual Octubre. Commandos, talons, and look at that number 3 and number 4 spot, Kesh.
Yes.
Brings a tear to my eyes. Green Knights.
Psychers!
Now, here's the thing. Some well, I'm guessing the only reason that they did make it to top one is because Talons exists in this top four, but it's still not bad. Still not bad.
Yeah, tsaka depende din. There might be other Talons players like
Yeah,
scattered throughout the game. So
yeah.
that probably affected their scoring.
Mm-mm. But here's the thing, though. I think people are discovering that because people were so focused on their psyker abilities that they forgot that at base, Green Knights and Thousand Suns are great in shooting and combat. At least in Kill Team, Green Knights can still shoot, melee, and psyker.
Yeah, same
So,
in 40k. That is
and in
why they're also in the top tables now.
diba? And Thousand Suns, yeah, I guess this means they already have Warp Coven, and the Warp Coven list is pretty strong. It's pretty strong. They really get neutered. Okay, here's the thing with Warp Coven. They're so dependent on their psychers that they probably get neutered bad by Sisters of Silence. Grey Knights don't have that handicap because of the shooting and the fighting. Thousand Suns can only do so much. But again, they're new. Warp Coven is new, but I'd like them to be good. I'd like them to be really good. You get access to Cash, it's practically the same spell list in 40k, scaled down to kill team.
Yeah, I saw it. 3 each, no? Per ano?
Yeah, each discipline, no? and you can triple up or double up. Of course, you can't cast the same Psyker spell in the same round. But if you are so inclined, sure, triple up on the disciplines, no? Triple up on the warp flame discipline if you want. But the discipline etheric, I think the one that heals, is that the one? Yeah. So Thousand Suns have a lot going for them. Um, I think people are still figuring it out. Uh, the the aspiring sorcerer with the stave and kopesh in etheric
Kopesh's best
can,
weapon.
yeah, can do a lot of damage, can heal itself, and slow down and debuff the entire army. Okay, except if there's a, but here's the thing: a pure custodes list will fail against Thousand Suns. But if your opponent knows that you have Thousand Suns, they'll bring in the sisters. But the custodes themselves are not immune to the effects of the debuff of the global debuffs. The one that slows down movement. So there is a way around it. You're gonna have to engage the sisters in melee, or shoot them with your warp flame cannon something before they make it close to your psychers. So moving on, look at that, Kesh. Look at that. Okay, it's second torneo Nocturno Noviembre, which is just, yeah, a week after the first one. Uh, oops, am I
You went back
lagging?
too far.
Oh no, I think my, okay. So here you go. Veteran guardsmen win. Okay, so we're pretty sure. So we have verification that it is veteran guardsmen. They were listed as such. Second place, Talons. Sisters of Battle, and then Thousand Suns. There are many things that can be attributed to why veteran guardsmen won this tournament. This is the first time they've placed that high. But we're not going to go deep in that. We'll probably have more in-depth look at them later on when we get to faction focus. Um, the problem with veteran guardsmen is that you're spoiled for choice. You're so spoiled for choice, and people still haven't figured out how to properly play them. No? But this is this is a very kind of a strange top four. A little surprising because veteran guardsmen take first over talents. Hmm. But the big takeaway here is this: we're experiencing a psychic awakening in the commandos meta. Commandos are pretty susceptible to multiple attacks. You're super susceptible to mortal wounds with no real way to heal themselves. They're not very tough. No. And add some mortal wounds on top of that. I think we just need the Warp Coven players just need to figure out how to properly manage their resources, their psyker spells, and I think they'll go far into the meta. So, any comments so far, Cash, before we get to the spice that is
Wala
the
naman.
tier
Keep
list?
going. Though Eric says he misheard it as warp COVID.
Oh well, well,
Eric, that's Nurgle, not Zinch.
yeah. We're talking about the wrong god here, but anyway, see guys. So let's get ready for the spice. This is what everyone came here for. Okay, so we got all of our 26 factions. I actually had a what call this a código earlier, but after reading through Warp Coven again, um, it might change some of my opinions. No? So we're gonna start. Sige, we'll get this out of the way from the very beginning. Let's go with the start. Loyalista Starties. I'm so sorry, but
Rip.
RIP, they really are at the bottom. And like bottom. There's another faction with them at the bottom and it's above them, which is sad. And it's a faction that I was able to face firsthand. No? But um yeah, we're gonna get to that in a bit. So Astartes along the Primaris especially, even the scouts, even the tacticals, they just they just don't cut it. The scouts
Yeah,
have
the
a lot of
problem is
options.
you can't mix. Eh. Space
You can't.
Marines were good because they could mix, but now they cannot
Yeah,
mix. Yeah, it's
but
Gilliman coming back shafting them. Gilliman's like, no, you must conform.
if there is one good Space Marine list, it will be Death Watch, because this is where you really get to mix up the options. But sadly, with five models, they're just lacking in numbers. There's actually a faction which is strictly better than them in every way, because they have not just all of the Death Watch, well, except for the Storm Shield, no? But this faction, Chaos Space Marines, I might be ranking them a little high, maybe C for Chaos Space Marines, but B for the Blood God. I don't know. They're good. We've seen them place. We've seen them in the slides. We've seen them in the tournament placings. They are a strict upgrade of Death Watch. 3 APL, 3 actions per turn, 6 models. They have a banner. They can even bring cultists, which are not by any means bad. I mean, his Heretic Astartes have a lot going for them, and at the rate that it's going, if they get a White Dwarf update or their own bespoke box in the future, they're going to be strong if this is the baseline. Because they hit hard and they got the numbers.
Yeah, we're waiting pa rin for the ano eh. Even in 40k, hindi pa na-update ang ano eh, Chaos Space Marines. So we have to wait.
Are they
Like,
still at
I
one
feel
wound?
they're still at one wound. But when they do get updated, I feel like they're gonna meta.
Right, because now they are going up the ranks in Kill Team, no, as people discover the different ways that you can play them. So, okay, now we go to Kroot. No, they're actually in D tier. They're they're better than Astartes and another Xenos race. Okay, and I'm sorry, Salva. I don't know if you're watching right now or if you're going to watch this later. No, but we played the past weekend, and Eldar, Craft World Eldar just struggle, but they're better than Space Marines. How the mighty have fallen. These were the kings of old Kill Team. They're now in F tier. They're too squishy. They don't have enough models. Harlequins are a straight upgrade of them. That's why they're in S tier. They're that good. They're just very good. Okay. Okay, maybe not S tier, maybe the top of A tier. Yeah, I think that's correct. Maybe top of A tier. Harlequins can do it all. They can do it all. They have 8 models with 3 actions each. That is action economy that is unparalleled. No, um, I'm struggling because they have a fair shot against Custodes. Custodes in any incarnation will always have fewer APL, and to max out their APL, they'll need to bring Sisters of Silence, which do absolutely nothing against Harlequins. They'll just get picked off. Meanwhile, Harlequins have a lot of mobility. They can dash, they can move, and throw a grenade at you. In and not necessarily in that order. Not necessarily. And they even have a ploy that increases their movement by 1. So Kesh, they become 7 on the move, 4 on the dash, and they can lob a grenade at you. That's nuts. So you can do that in any order. You can do that in any order. Maybe dash for 4, lob a grenade, then flip belt 7 inches into cover or elevated terrain. That's insane. That's insane mobility, and it's cheap. It's super cheesy. So, so yeah, they're there, top of the list. Harlequins, the murder clowns. Okay, so we're gonna take a look at some of the middle factions. This is very interesting. I might be rating these guys a little too high. Gene Stealer cults. Why are they in B tier? Sige, we're gonna put them with my lovely Tyranids. Okay, they are okay. These two are kind of better than Heretic Stories. Okay, and we're gonna talk about why. Um, Gene Stealer cults have missiles. You have a lot of one-way trips to do with these guys. You got the numbers, you got the killing power, and they can score objectives. You send them into combat, or you send them out in the open to get a clean shot, and then they die. And then they die. That's it. Okay, that's it. No, um, that's why I think they're a little worse than Tyranids. Gene Stealer cults have a lot of good shooting, and they can shoot a lot, but Tyranids last longer on the board. They have lots of ways to increase their saves and cover. Like if they're in cover, if they're concealed, it's hard to get to them. But if you do get to them, they're kind of squishy. That's the downside. But they are absolute blenders in melee, and I can attest to that. Like I got to kill the Dire Avenger on the very first round. In the very first round, I was able to tag the Dire Avenger, and that was the end of it. Insane, right? So Tyranids, the biggest downside with them is that they're so good at killing. They're hard to shoot, but they're also hard to score with. They just Tyranid warriors have 3 APL that gives them a lot of mobility. There's a ploy that allows you to give an extra action to anything within synapse range, which is 6 inches, but they're CP heavy. Okay, they're just CP hungry. They struggle to break through. Okay, so yeah, so um, we've been. How long have we been on? I think we've been on for quite some time.
42 minutes.
42 minutes. So we're just gonna power through some of the mid-tier ones. We're gonna look next at the Vanilla Tau. Okay, Vanilla Tau would be bottom of B or upper C. I think they would be upper C because the Kalnat Pathfinders are pretty good, but we don't have a lot of results yet. No. Meanwhile, Heretic Astartes have been killing it in the results. No? Uh, and because we're talking about that, yeah, so we're going to talk about the Kalnat parallels. Um, I'm inclined to think that the novitiates are stronger because they have good melee. They have good melee, balanced shooting. Tau have really good shooting. No, so they're I think they're at par with each other. Same with their vanilla counterparts in the compendium. So we're gonna place them there. Um, okay, there's absolutely no reason to take vanilla guardsmen, but there is absolutely a lot of reasons to take double scions for all the plasma goodness. And also for the greenskins, the vanilla counterpart of the orcs. Oops, wrong. Where are they? There you go. So, okay, vanilla guardsmen and vanilla greenskins, they have a lot of bodies. They have a lot more bodies than their Octarius counterparts. They can double up on certain things that their Octarius counterparts cannot. That's why they're not so bad. Okay, they can do things, but not. They're there. They're okay, but more often than not, you're gonna play with their strict upgrades. And speaking of strict upgrades, I'm going to put veteran guardsmen in B tier, but below the Calnat factions, which is sad because I love Krieg models. Okay, they have a lot of tools, but sometimes those tools they lack synergy. They don't gel well together. I don't know. People are not bothering to discover. I hope someone somewhere out there will discover the perfect synergy. You got 15 choices, but can only bring 10 at a time. So, and no one has found the sweet spot yet. Okay, so they're in a strange spot where the where the Calnat kill teams are better than them. We don't know how good they will be, but I reckon they will overtake at the very least Heretic Astartes. So I'm making a bold prediction like this, and not only that, like this. Um, and because I'm so biased with Tyranids, I'm gonna leave them at the top. Uh, okay, fine. That's not me biased. This is how I see it. Okay, this is how I see November ending with the Calnat kill teams taking over the gatekeeper status. No? So going back to the lower tiers, we got D for Death Guard, which is sad. No? They could have been good as campers, objective campers, but they're so slow. They have 4 inches of movement, and not even the dash is enough to get them around. Poxwalkers, in theory, are strong campers, but they on their way to the objective, they're going to eat a lot of shots. Maybe take a few hits in melee and then die. So someone's gonna get to the objective first, score it, and on your way, the probabilities will work out such that your poxwalkers will not make it to the objective, and you don't have enough plague marines. So you'd rather just take 5 plague marines, but then they're also too slow. So they're in a rut. I think Death Watch are better than them. No, Groot are better than them. Uh, I have Death Guard everywhere, and they're not too good right now. But going back to Chaos Space Marines, okay. We got Vanilla. Okay, we got the Vanilla Psychers and the Vanilla. Yeah, we got this. I'm not convinced that Grey Knights are very good yet.
Well,
Hmm.
the tables like prove otherwise.
Yeah, but sige, fine. We're going to be accurate. I think they are top of C. And
Really? Like ang dami nilang top 4 finishes, ah.
hmm, you're right. Bottom of B? Is that too low?
I feel like it's too low. I think people who consistently place in the top 4 should be in A.
That's a
What do you
bold
think?
call.
Kasi
Maybe
consistent eh. Well,
top of B.
there's S where they're always there.
Right. I think top of B. I think they're top of B at the moment. They should be. Okay, having said that, we should put Heretic Astartes a little bit over here. Needs are okay. Veteran guardsmen have placed. Oh, this is so sad. Okay, so these have placed. Okay, these have placed Heretic Astartes especially. They've taken more tables than Grey Knights.
Top spots, like top 4s.
Mostly top eights and a few top fours. Sige, we'll revisit that. Let's put
Yeah,
something in
kasi
A.
pansin ko a lot in the Novembers always have Grey Knights.
Right. Okay. Sige.
Since it is state of the meta now.
Yeah. So I think this would be more accurate. This is a bold call, but this is actually based on the data that we have. Yeah, they would populate A. And having put them there, okay. Okay, here's the thing with Drukhari. They're doing well. Not too well, but they're on their way up. So
So they probably should be in B.
they would be at B. Yeah, you're correct. Grey Knights do belong there. Ito, I'm not too sure about Vanilla Thousand Suns. No? Kasi they have
Probably
more
not.
guns. Ito, they can bring a lot more guns, but they don't have the flexibility of spells that the Warp
Yeah,
Coven have.
it's the flexibility kasi that's really ano eh. A Vanilla Thousand Suns Warband is just so easily
Yeah. So we're gonna put Warp
outnumbered.
Coven here. You know what? Let's
Yep.
use the better photo. there. There you go. There. The Exalted Sorcerer. Yeah. Warp
Okay.
Coven and Grey Knights on par. I'm pretty sure. Okay. So that's yeah, A is looking good. A is looking pretty good. Um okay, Chaos Demons have not placed, but they should be good. They should be doing well. Better than they are now, but they're not in any top 16 that I've seen. Death
Have
Guard,
they been represented well though? Like they
not
can't
so,
place if no one brings them.
yeah. But Death Guard do show up, so that makes them better than Chaos Demons. I'm wondering why Command Point even put Chaos Demons in C. That's a super hot take that I don't agree with. I respect Command Point, but the tables tell otherwise. Now we get to the Robot Boys. Um, I'm inclined to think that Vanilla Forge World is good because they've been listed as such. Maybe Vanilla Forge World will go here. Hunter Clade should be a tier above them. I'm not so sure, but they have placed. But I'm so confused as to which kind of admech faction made it there. But they should be there.
Yeah. Can you give me the date? Hanapin ko yung ano.
Sure. Look at my notes. There were Forge World top 8 in Warhammer World. They're number 5.
When?
Uh, October 24.
May ano na yan. Wait. First, meron na. May
Meron
Forge
na.
World na. Yeah.
Because in October 23, San Diego, Forge World won.
Meron na rin nun.
Okay, so we should put Vanilla Forge World with Vanilla Thousand Suns, I guess. Um,
I mean,
and
meron na silang update na na. Yeah.
then okay, I'm not sure if they're strictly better than Calnat and Vetguard.
Probably need more data on them.
We need more data, but for now, I'm inclined to put them below Vetguard because Vetguard has been well represented. No? So, but Forge World has made a lot of consistent appearances in top eights, so we can't count them out yet. Okay, so bottom of the heap, Necrons are actually better than Eldar and Astartes. Lower D because they're hard to kill, but they can't score. It's hard for them to get into melee, but they have okay-ish shooting, so could be better than Demons. At least Necrons appeared in the Torneo in Ethethyon in top 4. So I guess that makes sense that they're better than Demons. And now we get to the last two. We got Orcs and Custodes. Okay, here's a painful thing. I don't, having looked at the remaining two, I don't think Harlequins are in S because that's where command. That's spot
Sure,
belongs to.
Mikey. Um, um, I would argue your A placing for Heretic Astartes, since they haven't placed in a top 4 since October 23.
Oh, that's a long time. That's half and
Yeah.
half. Hmm.
If anything, they should be top of B, I think. Like Sisters of Battle have placed higher than like Sisters of Battle have shown up in a top 3 in November 12th.
Right. Right.
If anything, they should be below Sisters.
And above Tao, which makes sense.
Yeah.
So we don't have a lot of data on Tao yet.
Yeah, wala halos tao.
Yeah. They won the November 7, and Vetguard won as well. But Vetguard have actually entered top 4 and top 8 more times, so this should make sense. And also Forge World Hunter Clade. How does this look?
Yeah, that looks better.
That looks better. Okay. I don't
So,
think
sino yung kasama?
Harlequins
Yeah.
belong in the
Sino
bottom.
yung nasa top left? Commandos? Yeah, definitely fucking Commandos.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
this is more accurate.
Talons, I think, are a gatekeeper faction. In the sense na they're like Sons of Behemoth in AOS, where you have to have tools to beat Talons in order to progress.
Yeah. So do you think they don't belong in S?
They do belong in S, pero it's kasi you can easily place with a Talons team, pero it has a lower skill ceiling.
Right. You will max out early, and it can fall. It can fall to A and B.
Yes,
properly.
it can fall to A and B. Like A and B need to have their tools teched to fight Talons. Meanwhile, Commandos are just overtuned, I think.
Yeah, they have everything. They have everything.
Yeah, Commandos are
everything.
overtuned, pero our A is tech to take. If A is tech to take down S, then S will fall. So it is
definitely.
it's a gatekeeper S faction.
Okay. Yeah. Warp Coven can definitely fry orcs. It's just, Commandos. It's just that they can't break past Talons. If there's a Talons, they don't get a chance to face Commandos. That's my interpretation of this.
Hard counter siya eh.
Yeah, they just fold. Green Knights can still do a lot kasi. Which is why, I don't know. I think Talons and Warp Coven are super close to each other. It's just that we're gonna favor, team did nothing wrong a little more. I guess.
Because they did nothing wrong, diba?
They did nothing wrong. Just
you
like
know,
the
the Talons did shit wrong. They invaded Prospero on orders of Horus. Horus.
So we're gonna
Sino
give
pa
everyone
kasama nila nun? Other heretics like Legio Mortis and Liman Russ. Yeah, heretics.
But you know what didn't go wrong? What could never do wrong? This tier list that we made together. So thank you, Kesh, for providing your counter insight. I am so glad that you made it. Yeah. There were some wrong
the
calls.
traffic was so bad, so very very bad.
Yeah. So everyone take time to appreciate our hard work. Kesh really tried his best to make it back in time to assist me with this. Take time to appreciate this tier list. Now again, this is by no means an end all be all. And just because your favorite faction is at the bottom doesn't mean it's gonna stay there forever. Neither does it mean that they don't have a chance. This is still a dice game, and because you're rolling fewer dice than 40k, the spikes are more meaningful. When the spikes happen, they spike.
I'm gonna say there's an exception for Marines though. I'm sorry, Marine players.
Yeah, okay, we're not gonna sugarcoat
so
it.
Shafted.
Yeah, play Death Watch if you want a chance at winning as Marines.
I'm sorry, other Mykey. It's very sad life for you guys right now.
Yeah. So, but with everything else, come on, Groot won. Groot won.
It's Granada. Granada never counts. Okay, Granada never counts.
Fine. Okay. So Granada in fact, does not
Okay, yeah.
count. Okay.
Let's turn Manila into like Asian Granada.
Okay. Yeah, Eric. We're gonna do that. One, we're going to make. Okay, so that means we're not gonna make Lumineth win in Warcry. That's one. We're gonna kill the meta. We're not gonna make Lumineth win in AOS, and we're also not
Yes.
gonna make. But there are a lot of commando players in the Philippines because just because of Octarius, there's
Yes.
going to be a boatload.
Everyone went crazy for it now.
Everyone and their brother has commandos, and we're now talking really good stuff about them. There's also a lot of Magnus stands out there. I'm pretty sure. So you're all going to have a good time.
We
To the
did
Krieg players,
nothing wrong.
we did nothing wrong, and you're doing everything right in Kill Team. It's just those nasty golden girls and boys
It's the
getting in the
golden
way.
bitches.
Yes.
The
So we're
bald
gonna take them
bitches
down,
getting in our
right?
way again.
So to all of the murder clown players out there, please show up. Please show up. Please eliminate those Talons players from the bracket so that our wonderful psychers can have their awakening and
Oh,
enter top one and two.
yes, Eric. I have to go outside to restock Warhammer for you guys. So,
Okay,
Teacher
so
Mikey, teach me now how to make good warp coven list. What is the standard good warp coven list?
okay, sige. So I think we should put the Warp Coven. We should put the Psyker slides on active. So we're going to. Okay, so for the Warp Coven, I'm if you guys if you have your copy of White Dwarf 469, yeah, you can build a kill team with us. This is a wonderful
Yeah.
spread.
Though I'm sending this over to Mr. Doctor like probably next week because it has all the Seraphon goodness.
Wow, you
Yeah,
see how
it has all the Seraphon campaign stuff, the painting guides which he needs.
wow, holy moly! This is 40 pages of White Dwarf for the Thousand Sun skill team. It's
Yes, it is.
lore included. That's really nice art. Sorry. Anyway, let's get down to business. You'll probably mess around with the first and second names later, or maybe we can start with names like call them Forces Tukor, Cadet Anin.
Foses Takar is an actual dude.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Or Sanak
And like
San
Sanakt is an actual dude. Iskandar Kayon is an actual dude. Hathor Mat is an actual dude. Yeah.
Okay, fine.
They
Sige, let's get
basically took every single
Egyptian
Thousand
name.
Sons name in fluff and then dumped it in here. I mean,
Oh,
when
okay.
I say actual dude, I mean they're actual people in fluff. Ha? Like Revuel Arvida is the one who later became Janus, the first of the Grey Knights.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so there's a lot of story behind here. Okay, cool.
Yes, yes.
Sige, that will be very informative.
Yeah.
Okay,
Iskandar
so
Kayon works for Abaddon right now.
okay.
He's Black Legion now.
Sige.
Though a
So,
lot of the guys exploded in Prospero.
okay, sige, let's get to your list, no. So for the Warp Coven kill team, okay, you'll likely take all three sorcerers.
Of course.
Okay? You'll take all three sorcerers so you can have one each for the Destiny Discipline,
Should
Temperic
I be
Discipline.
taking the Warp Flame Pistol?
Okay, there are two ways that you can build a sorcerer. For me, I think you would like to have one sorcerer with a warp fire pistol.
Yeah, can only
Uh
bring one.
yeah, warp flame pistol, but the aspiring sorcerer in Warp Coven is a very strong mixed attacker. Because with 3 APL, so many things that you can do. Um, you can charge. Sorry. First, what you can do is cast a Psyker spell, make a charge, then hit in melee. Or or you can reverse that order. You can charge, kill something, heal back the damage. Or you can fall back, heal damage, or so many things. So you want one sorcerer with the Kopesh and the
Best
stave
best
at once.
weapon.
Yeah, because you're going to be raining a lot of critical hits in melee, and you want that. Kopesh plus stave makes you a critical hit blender, and now it will be up to you to mix and match the disciplines. But whoever will be your melee blender should take on the temperic discipline so they can heal themselves.
Okay.
And on their way to melee, they'll be casting ephemeral instability. It's going to subtract 2 inches from all charge and dash actions for that turning point, which is
Which one
big.
has the heal?
Temperic discipline,
Ah,
temporal
there it is.
manipulation.
Yeah.
And then you still get access to Flux Blast. It's there. You still have your range attack. And again, this is infinite range because it's a it's a psyker spell. It has blast and rending for attacks hitting on 3 plus. That's good. That's an AoE on your way to your opponent who's moving slow, and any shots that you eat can be healed off, especially with a 3 plus save. And if you equip that dude with an equipment called, you can, yeah, there's an equipment. Oh no, there's the other thing with Warp Coven. They can take on boons of Sinch. Okay, so this
Yeah,
is
I see the
busted.
boons.
Yeah, because not only do they have so they have the psyker spells, they have the buffs as well. Um, the one that holds the Kopesh and Stave in Temperic Discipline, you might want to give it the
Mutation for additional damage from melee weapons.
no, that's
Or the etheric for fly or increased save.
you want it to make it to melee. So increase the save. I'm just okay. Jury is not out. According to Goonhammer, okay, so Goonhammer also agrees with me that increasing damage via mutation is not good on the sorcerers, but they're split between crystalline and empiric ward. But
Okay.
you might there's not a lot of AP yet in the game. Okay, so maybe just take on crystalline, make it a 2 plus save. That will almost guarantee you make it to melee. I think that will always guarantee you make it to melee. With crystalline 2 plus save, and then you're healing yourself on the way, walking on cover. Yeah. So give it the etheric mutation,
Yeah.
crystal.
How's the gunner with the Soul Reaper cannon or the Warp Flamer?
Warp Flamer.
Warp Flamer, not the Soul Reaper.
Oh, uh, Soul Reaper. Infinite range. Infinite range.
So we take one Soul Reaper and one Warp Flamer?
Okay, here's the thing. You can only take 2 gunners if you go all rubrics.
Okay.
In the team building here. So okay, so we have to start with that. You start with your one sorcerer, and then you have 10 slots in the Warp
Okay.
Oven cooperatives. Every rubric marine and additional sorcerer will eat
Counts
up
as
two
two.
slots. Yeah, and a Sangor will take up one. And you can only take a second gunner if you already have 4 rubric marines. So that will restrict you to one sorcerer, 2 vanilla rubric marines, which is not bad. And then you have the banner, and then you have the 2 gunners. But just go back to vanilla thousand sun if you're gonna go that route because you want the 3 sorcerers. Okay, so
So we go three
That's the
Sorks, a
bit.
gunner, and then fill it up with Zangors.
Take the banner. Take
Oh,
the rubric banner because it gives you a free cast
so all
action.
rubrics, limang rubric ako.
No. Take Sangors. Okay, so here would be my recommended build. No. So that we don't go overtime so much. You take your three. So you take your leader, an aspiring sorcerer. Okay, so that's out of the way. How do you use the 10? Uh, use 4 slots for 2 more sorcerers,
Okay,
and
6 left.
take a rubric banner because it allows you to do a psyker action for free.
Oh,
And if you and if normally that doesn't do anything other than make you effectively 4 APL, meaning you can charge, so you can shoot, charge, fight, and psyker. But you have to psyker first before you engagement get into engagement rate. So with a banner within 6 inches, your sorcerers are effectively 4 APL. They will take a psyker action, make a shot, charge, and then fight. Always take the rubric banner. Okay, so that takes your so that's 6 slots. Take 1 gunner.
okay, with
That's eight
the Soul
slots
Reaper.
with the Soul Reaper cannon, and then 2 Sangors. That will give you 7 models in total. Ay, tama ba?
Okay.
That's
Which
seven
Zangors
models.
ba? Should I bother with the Icon Bear, and the Horn Bearer?
Okay. Um, if you want a little more melee, take the Sangor champion.
Okay.
It's a good melee character. And then maybe take the okay, if you want a range attack, take the normal Sangor. If you want to speed up the movement of your Sangor champion, take the banner. It won't hurt. It won't hurt. And you already have good range anyway
Alright, so
because
but
of your
first I
psychers.
have to buy a box of Zangors.
You don't have Sangors yet. That's
I don't
strange.
have Zangors. The
Wow.
Zangors did not exist in 30K.
Right. Okay. So yun. You have a pretty solid list after that. That's 7 models, and that's competing with the that can compete. That can compete already. You'll be taking objectives, and here's the bonus thing with aspiring sorcerers. They have the ability to remote control rubrics. So you're going to move them in pairs, no? Except maybe for your
Mm.
leader, or maybe two of your aspiring sorcerers will be moving in tandem with the rubric marine. They can give for free, for free. They can give 1 APL. I'm pretty sure it's a free action. Does
Nice.
so that turns your rubric marines into very versatile fighters.
Yeah. I've been distracted by this of late. Behold.
Behold.
Behold. I just got
Oh,
this
that.
in. Yeah, we're gonna be playtesting this next week with Vian. If internet allows, I'm gonna stream it siguro Thursday afternoon.
Okay, good. So yeah, that's your kill team. That's your that's
Cool,
your
cool.
warp coven. They are powerful. They can wreck face. They can, and if they can make it to a matchup with or commandos, they they will rule. They will rule.
Yeah,
That's a
Matthew's game.
guarantee. Okay. So yeah, we're about to end the stream. Let's get back to Calendar of Necha and
Nechan.
show them what's happening for the rest of November.
Yeah.
What do we
So
have?
next week we're gonna be having faction focus Necrons with our good friend Esteban. So Esteban will be talking to us about Necrons, and and it's really great timing because Necrons just got a huge buff with the balance update.
A
Like
core for
holy
you,
shit,
core for
so
you,
many
and
cores.
you, and you, and you.
Everyone has core now. So
Everyone has
like
core.
it's great. Like destroyers got a new leaf on life. Like
That's
flayed ones, holy
insane.
shit! Like We're gonna be talking about it. Like we don't have data yet, but like we're just gonna react to it.
It's going to be
Um,
good.
it's
It's
gonna
going
be
to be
great.
good.
Yeah, we're not sure if it's enough to bring them to the top tables, but it's enough to make them playable.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's better for like filthy casuals like us. Um, like the mere fact that you can bring back heavy destroyers now with technomancers is huge. Considering Space Marines could do that with their apothecaries and attack bikes.
Insane.
Yeah, so it's really great. Like it brings them almost on par with like Space Marines,
Mm-mm.
which admittedly are not in the top except for certain lists. And in Granada, if you're an Iron Hands player named Antonio, in Granada,
Specifically in Granada.
specifically Granada is where meta goes to die.
It's where Crute wins a tournament.
It's where Coot wins and Iron Hands dominate. Fucking Granada. Love the place, don't get me wrong. It's a gorgeous place, great scenery, every great food. But their meta is fucked up.
And we're following suit. We're going to make the most f up meta in the Philippines. Forget about our tier list. Let's make our own meta.
Alright.
So yeah,
Yeah, on the
Necron's
27th,
players. Ah,
yeah,
let's
Necron
have a
players.
call for
Yeah, send
send
us
players
your
stuff.
no Necron photos, like so we can feature them. Unfortunately, Esteban's Necrons are in storage due to them having like um tawag dito, house renovations. So we're only showing like old photos of his crons and like along with some of my golden boys. But if you have any painted crons, which I know a lot of you do, Tito has said, looking at you, please do send them to us. On the
200
27th,
warriors.
yeah. On the 27th, we are going to be changing it up. It's no longer going to be faction focus Signar. It's going to be a general Warm Hordes primer. Yeah, with our good friend Jonathan, who has read everything.
Okay,
Yes.
this will be exciting. He'll be building me a what do you call this? What do you call stuff in Warm Hordes?
A
Yeah, he's
battle
gonna build
group.
me a battle. Yeah, he's gonna help me. I think
Yeah. And
it'll be
then
interesting.
on the 18th, if we get the logistics and the technology running, like technology willing, we might be able to stream our Adeptus Titanicus game on Thursday with the child.
Oh,
So yeah, yeah, we're gonna be streaming from my garage.
cool,
Technology
cool.
willing, like I'm hoping the Wi-Fi reaches that far. So
Can
fingers
I
crossed.
drop by? Can I drop by?
No one person limit, unfortunately, Gumen.
Okay, that's fine. I wanted to
Yeah.
push.
Unless you start playing Adeptus Titanicus, then you're free to come over and fight me.
Let's
So
stop in
we have
2020.
6 players so far, 6, which is a lot more than anyone was expecting. So
That's a
it
lot.
seems like it's really just Aeronautica Imperialis that like na
That doesn't have an
nilalangaw.
actual player base. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because everyone got like cock blocked by the plastic thunder.
Jesus.
That was such a huge cock block. Um,
Yeah.
what we call like Hesed hadn't lost the boner so fast since 1999. Yeah, the lost
Sad.
boner of 1999. Um, so everyone who wants to join us on Thursday, we're going to try to stream. If we cannot, we're just gonna like do an introduction. But I've been hearing a lot of things about Adeptus Titanicus because I've been watching all of the streams on the YouTube. Shout out to like Tabletop Standard. I've watched like 2 years worth of their bat reps, and I've watched their hairlines progressively deteriorate over 2 years. Like it's not as bad as mine is right now, but like this is deliberate.
That'll probably happen to us as well if we keep on doing this in
Yeah, no,
perpetuity.
no, no, mine doesn't. It just turns white prematurely, which is fine. It's a George Clooney silver fox shit. So, though apparently this is the most polished and balanced rule set that GW has ever produced ever, Adeptus Titanicus, which is like okay, wow. So I want to see how it turns out, especially with the meta and balance changes coming with like corrupted titans where you can give them like boons. Like they get mutations and boons. You can make them like spit ichor or like spit out warp flame.
Man, all this talk about giant stompy robots with funky powers.
Yes, join us, Teacher Mikey. Did you know that there's a Pacific Rim Legio?
Are you kidding me?
I am not kidding you. The lore for Legio Laniascara, which is blue and red, by the way, is that they have a strong focus on close combat because they had to fight in close combat monsters that came from the depths of their oceans. They had to fight kaiju.
Kaiju. That's
Yes.
wild. That's wild.
Goonhammer actually calls them the Pacific Rim Legio. Yes. So if you want to play Pac Rim in Warhammer, this is where you the Legiolan Yaskara is where you go. And the rules are not bad, ah. Like the thing with Titanicus is because everyone shares the same toys, there is no overtly broken subfaction.
Ah, okay.
And there like even the weakest subfactions, which got balanced now with the new book, even the weakest subfactions at their worst could still win against the top
So
subfactions
so there's just sub
reliably.
faction abilities. No.
Yeah,
So
the
same
subfaction, yeah,
units.
same units, with the exception of one Legio Audax, who can only take Warhounds, but they have like special bonuses for that Titan because they're yeah,
Okay, so you're only differentiated by how you paint them and the special abilities that they get, but
indeed,
it's same
indeed.
stats across. Okay, that's cool. That's pretty cool.
Or if you go corrupted Titans, if you bring if you bring Demon Titans, and if you're a loyalist player, you can bring a Psy Titan, which the Emperor made himself. And yeah, there you go, JP. Be sure to order like
Isa pa to with infinite
Adeptus
pockets si JP.
Titanicus with us, and I will personally help you build a super fluffy anti-kaiju Legio Laniascara list.
Oh, JP, para may pambili ka na ng Adeptus Titanicus, come on, send me those. The team did nothing wrong. That's my guy. That's my guy right there. Come on, JP. Come on. Get me started
Anyway,
on them. Yeah.
anything
Anyway,
else, Teacher Mikey?
no, we're good. We're going to post the tier list, the final tier list
Yeah,
pick
definitely post it
later.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, via the page. Yeah, we'll just post it on the page and then we'll share it so all of you can salt on it and raise your pitchforks. Right, but
Yes,
don't
yes.
kill us. Okay, we're good. We're good. Okay, so build those skill teams, optimize your operatives, and we'll see you again when there's see you at the next in-store play whenever that happens. And also
Magnus
see you
did
in the next
nothing
episode.
wrong.
Magnus did nothing wrong. Good night, everyone. Like, subscribe to all of our accounts. Good night. Happy
It's right
weekend.
there, guys.
Right there. Good night. Good night. Happy weekend.